What's the GIR on Invade ZIM? Also the voice of Bloody the Pig. So, here we are. It's actually going to be the 10-year anniversary of Invade ZIM this year. I'm giving another convention in March called InvaderCon.
Really?
That's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. That's what we're going.
Should actually be in California, because that's where I live. The color supervisor, Jay Bondi, who I was stuck in an office with for 2 years while I was a colorist on the show also. Smells like old bacon. We're going to have me and Richard Horowitz, who was Zim, Andy Berman, who was Did, and one of the writers, Eric Trueheart, he wrote That Rubber Pig, other things. One of the color supervisor, Jay Bondi, who I was stuck in an office with for 2 years while I was a colorist on the show also. Smells like old bacon. And I think we have Tim and Nancy, the guy who does music on Zim. And I think we're also going to try to get Melissa Fon, who was Gaz, if they can. So that's not confirmed yet. So, yeah, so that's happening in March. To celebrate the 10-year of a show that died.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Invade ZIM.
Yeah. And they almost hit the resurrection spell last year. Nickelodeon was actually considering bringing the show back last year, and for about 3 months they were keeping us, sort of on pins and needles, waiting to hear whether or not they were going to approve of it. And then in September they called it. So, that was upsetting, especially when you look at they just announced the 3 heads of Viacom. Viacom owns Nickelodeon, made $75 million each last year. So they said they couldn't afford to do it in Zim.
Wow.
Yeah, but $75 million, you could do with Zim. You could do 20 seasons with $75 million. Anyway, I'm not bitter. I'm apocalyptic. So usually I'm lazy, so I usually just let people ask me questions, and then I answer them. Because I don't like the questions. So does anybody want to ask a question? Yes, you.
The obsession with Mexican food, taquitos, tacos, all that stuff, was that writers or was that just sort of...
Jonan. That is Jonan Vasquez. Emphasizes Vasquez.
Very American.
The writers would submit things that had other words in them than tacos and burritos and that, and you would change them to taco and no enchiladas. We didn't have anything that was taquitos, tacos. I guess those were favorites. I don't know. I think they just sound better too. Taquito is a very funny word. Taco is a very simple word, a fast word to say. So he got to celebrate his ethnicity and stick to very, terse sort of, language. Try to keep the poetry of the whole thing going. Sort of taquito poetry. He also, mooses got into. I don't know if there are any moose in Mexico, but in Mexican culture, but he stuck a lot of those in there too. I might be his Canadian side. No, I'm Canadian. Yes.
What's your favorite GIR moment?
Favorite GIR moment? You mean like just something he did?
Yeah, just anything that he does in the show.
I like whenever he reveals that he's probably suicidal. Because in that one episode where it's one big virtual reality simulation, that did this. Yes, finally! The original dialogue for that, which they made us change, was, sweet release! I didn't like that, because it made it sound like he was anticipating this. Which I think finally is the same thing.
It's just a satisfaction to you.
And I think that when, I have a cold right now, so I hate everything. I think that, when you hear like episodes where, he's talking, he sees the dancing weenies, and they're,
Dancing
telling him,
weenies.
dance with us, girl, dance with us into oblivion. That's his inner psyche saying, lay down, little man. Just shut down, you're broken, So he knows deep down that you should just let it go. But that other side of him just keeps him just moving around. Yes.
What is your most hated question?
How do you
Stanford, I just want to know.
how do you be a voice actor? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I got in because I was a colorist on the show, because I lived at Joey's house for 20 days. I was coloring Eiffel stick, and I was living in his house for 20 days and stuck in this room that was 105 degrees next to an open wall.
Did that make you someone who I don't like yours?
No, I got it. It was like there's a freeway wall outside the window, and he called it his madness room, and then he said he had a camera that he was watching me, to see what it would do to me. But while he was doing that, while he was drawing that book, he was also working on the pilot for Invade ZIM. And it wasn't going well on the voice acting, or actually it was going well on a lot of stuff, but the voice acting part was frustrating him, and he was getting a lot of voice actors who were very, trained actors who would come in and voice for her, and they were giving him stuff that sounded like Goofy or something. And he didn't want that. He wanted something, as he explained to me, he wanted someone who sounded like crap. So I said, can I try? And he said, sure, he can't screw it up any more than anyone else. So I got an audition, and the director hated it, and then they argued for like 2 hours while I sat in his office. And then they agreed to send it to Nickelodeon in New York, and they did. And Nickelodeon in New York said, that's great, but we should hear another take just to make sure that he's the one. So they brought me in again like a week later, and this time I was really tired because I had been up for 32 hours working on another project. So I just sounded like crap. I just sounded terrible. So Jonah just sent them the original anyway. Anyway, great.